Hey, good morning, my tribe, my XRP army, everybody out there in YouTube land. Hope you're doing well this Sunday morning. It's going to be warm today, I think. I was reading some comments. Ven 11,000. He says, well, first of all, there's a whole lot of hoopla and a whole lot of speculation on what XRP's price is going to be by the end of this year. Got 3 more weeks to find out. Rob 007, he says between him and Jake Claver, the price is either going to be 90 or 100, over 100 bucks. It's got 3 weeks to do that. Hey, XRP, $100,000 today, please. I've kind of, when I stopped wishing, thought maybe $5 by the end of the year. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they are correct. I really do. But Vin 11,000, he makes some good points. He says there's going to have to be a serious decoupling of XRP from the fiat system itself. Makes sense. And that decoupling, and I agree with him completely, will probably be brought about through a credit crunch or freeze. Believe he said freeze. And I believe it'll just be a crunch. We're already going through liquidity crises in the banking systems, in that the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Federal Reserve, that is having to inject liquidity into the repo markets. That is a very big indicator of the health of the banking institutions if they're having to throw in more money into the overnight repo market. Repo market, real briefly, is a system by which banks can borrow money overnight for overnight expenses and then repay it the next day or the following day. Very short loan. Those pools of money have dried up, and the Fed has had to inject more liquidity. Why? Because banks are not lending to each other again. This happened back in 2008. That's what precipitated that catastrophe. Was the banks stopped lending to each other, credit froze up, and banks make money. They make their lifeblood comes from making loans. And if they're not able to make loans because their system's all backed up and plugged up, then somebody's got to come along with a rooter and clean it up and get it flowing again. Get the crap flowing again. We'll see where that goes, but it doesn't bode well for the system itself. And things are happening. I also believe that it's going to take some major players around the world to implement it, such as the Bank of International Settlements saying something like, we like XRP, we like cryptocurrencies, we like ISO 20022, and then you'll see banks beginning to pile on board in greater numbers. They're going to come on board anyways. It's a new asset class. They're going to be allowed to hold it on their asset sheets and then loan against it, and that's what banks do, and they're going to do that. And once that starts, it starts a momentum building. A liquidity freeze would definitely cause that to be accelerated in a very short period of time. How short a period of time? A period of time that if you've been holding XRP for any length of time will shock you. But it's going to happen one way or the other. And I believe it will happen slowly, then suddenly. So make sure you are on that rocket ship and buckled in when it's time to go. I hope you've put your XRP on a shelf and you've set it aside. If you're trading with it, okay, if you are savvy enough of an investor to do that, congratulations. I hope you do really well. If you're not savvy enough and really know what you're doing to make money consistently trading, And I don't put the effort into it, and I'm not savvy enough. I admit to it. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But what I have done with my XRP is put it in a jar and stuck it in the back of the cabinet. And I'll re-examine it later. Same thing I did with gold and silver, with precious metals. I bought them and I set them off to the side. I'm not going to trade in it. It's not what I do with it. That's my last ditch defense against inflation, against hyperinflation, really. The dollar never stops inflating. It just inflates at a higher rate or a lower rate. And the rates are accelerating. In case you haven't noticed the price of groceries lately. So that's my talk for today. I hope you take it to heart. Understand that while we all want $100,000 today, XRP, it is a process by which mechanisms have to come in and start lifting it up. Some will lift faster than others. The dinghy will float before the ocean liner will when they're both beat on the beach and the tide's coming in. But they're all going to float. And I hope it's an absolute tsunami that lifts all of us to the moon. God bless y'all. Take care. And I'm out.